Oh, sorry. Did it start? Okay. Hi guys. So tonight we're gonna talk about 6 steps to advocacy for Indigenous people. So if you don't know me, but all you know me, I'm Emma and I'm the director of public relations. Just a disclaimer, like these are only a few ways that I thought of. So there's definitely a lot of ways to become a better advocate, but hopefully you learned something from this presentation. Um, so tonight I'm going to talk about why advocacy is important, 6 steps to advocating, and then highlighting some important people that are really good advocates in their community. So why advocate? Advocate. Sorry, I'm going to mess up that word all night, by the way. But being an advocate shows that you care about your community or an issue, and you're looking to be part of the positive change. It encourages people to express their thoughts, concerns, and opinions on things they're passionate about. And it also works to ensure that people and groups have a say in the decisions that impact them. So even little changes can make a big difference. So it's important to speak up, even if it's small things. So I'm going to start with the steps. So the first one is to raise Indigenous voices and experiences. In order to learn from Indigenous people, you shouldn't be taking the spotlight away from the voices. So never speak for or over Indigenous voices. Instead, listen, learn, and know your place in the conversation and kind of carry the voices, but don't ever speak in place of them because that literally is like not the point. But yeah, it's just not the point. Also, it's not the job of Indigenous people to explain their culture and experiences. Of course, if they're like going to open up to it, like open up about their experiences, of course, take that, learn from it and run with it, but never like expect them to be your history book. Like do the research by yourself and take some initiative. The second one is to educate with kindness. We all come from very different backgrounds, whether that's our religious beliefs, our culture, where we're from. So don't assume everyone knows everything. Rather, encourage them to hold themselves accountable, to learn, grow, and change for the future. You can expect people to learn and change their insensitive or incorrect language, but don't expect that they know it before you talk about it. And also just be kind, because if you're rude, you're not going to get anywhere and they're not really going to take anything away from what you have to say. So yeah. The third one is to support Indigenous artists, organizations, and movements. So you don't need money to do this. So you can obviously share their products or their page on social media, follow them, like or comment. There's a lot of things you can do without money. Like we did on Monday, we fundraised it a little bit. So even contributing $2 to a raffle ticket can help Indigenous organizations. So if you have the chance, you should get involved with that. And then lastly, on our Instagram page, we do, if you look at the people we're following, there are some great people on there. So if you need anyone to like add to your Instagram feed to just get a little bit of education or knowledge each day, you should go. And then 10 ISU events. I'm gonna plug it, even though all you guys are here every week. But as an e-board and G-board member, we all have a lot to learn from each other, and we have a lot of fun in meetings. And it's important that we advocate for this club, whether that's sharing posts on social media or talking about the club with other people, because the more people we expose, the more educated we can all be about the Indigenous experience on campus. And the great part about ISU is that you get, being a part of it gives you a community of other advocates to lean back on. And then speak out when you see ignorance. I know it's really uncomfortable, but it is important to speak out because change will not happen if you don't say anything. And you can't expect everyone just to change if they're not aware that they're wrong. So I've definitely had uncomfortable conversations, particularly with the R word, which is separate, but it is a similar thing where it is an uncomfortable conversation, but most people are respectful and understanding. So don't be afraid to speak out and just correct them and move on because it's not that big of a deal. And then the last one is just continuing education. We talked about this on Monday that there's a few classes you can take at Quinnipiac, but hopefully this minor is going to happen because that would be super cool. And I said when because it will happen. I'm convinced. So if you once that happens, you can definitely declare that, and that'll be a great push to learn more about Indigenous people. And yeah. So this is my last part. I know I'm trying to go really quickly because I'm nervous, and we have work to do. But these are just three people I found. The first is Rosalie Fish, who's a runner, and she advocates for missing and murdered Indigenous women. James Jones, he has a lot of content on social media, particularly TikTok. And then Nayleen Pike, who speaks about land rights and keep and all the things that happen with her tribe. So to start, this is Rosalie Fish. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her, but she's part of the Cowlitz tribe. Definitely said that wrong. But she is next year, she's going to be a freshman at the University of Washington, and she's going to run there. And I thought her story was super cool because in high school, she started running with the red handprint across her face. And it was a big challenge for her to even get that to be approved. And part of her decision and part of the reason she chose University of Washington was because the coaches were more than confident and willing to speak up and stand up for her advocacy. So I think that was a cool thing that she wanted to go to a school that would support her decision to race with the red handprint across her face. So she devotes each race to someone different. One of the women, Alice Looney, is actually her aunt who was murdered, which is really sad. But she does have a big connection to it. So I thought it was important that she tries to highlight a different woman each race. And she was inspired by Jordan Marie Brings Three White Horses Daniels, who ran in the Boston Marathon and ran with the same red handprint. And every mile Jordan ran, so it was 26 in total. So she honored 26 women at each mile of the race. So I thought that was a super cool thing. And then the quote on the bottom, it says, it's that little domino effect. This Rosalie actually said that, and it's just talking about how one thing that someone else did inspired her. And so hopefully her actions will inspire someone else. So it's just that little effect that's gonna change the world and make a difference. The second person is James Jones. You've probably seen him on TikTok, but he goes under the handle Notorious Cree, I believe. And he uses his platform to educate others and talk about hoop dance, hairstyles, a lot of different things, but mainly hoop dancing. And he collaborates with other Indigenous content creators to voice Indigenous perspectives and culture. And like the other day, I think he was talking about how his practices were banned, and so he's trying to keep the tradition alive even through COVID. Because his dances got canceled because of COVID, he used his online platform to kind of spread the message, and so a lot of people have been exposed that would have never seen anything like it before. So I thought it was super cool. And then lastly, Nayleen Pike. I'm probably saying her name wrong as well, but she's part of the San Carlos Apache tribe, and she speaks at conventions and schools about protecting sacred lands. Her family has an organization called the Apache Stronghold, which defends holy sites and freedom of religion for Indigenous communities. So currently they're trying to save Oak Flat from being sold to a mining company. And I thought it was super cool because her and Rosalie are both similar to our age. I think Nayleen's 19 right now. So it's super cool that people are taking action and trying to spread the message and encourage other youth. So that's all I have tonight. But yeah, hope everyone learned something or found someone new to follow.